everyone. Let's learn about Radix Sophorae Subprostratae origin producing techniques through this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to have an understanding of Radix Sophorae Subprostratae origin producing techniques. The workflow for this herb at its origins is cleaning, drying, quality tests, and packaging and storing. Firstly, we need to clean the herbs. Trim off non-medicinal parts with scissors such as stems, tendrils, and moldy portions of the fresh herb. After that, clean the roots and stems with running water. Secondly, we could dry them out in two ways, either traditional or modern. Let's start with the traditional method, which is air drying. We can put washed herbs in the sun to dry, which is a common way for most Chinese medicines. Spread the plants in a thin layer in the sun on drying fields. When it is sunny and breezy, flip the herbs regularly to ensure evenly exposure to sunlight. Repeat the process above until the herb meets the required moisture. Next, let's turn to the modern method, baking. That is, placing Radix Sophorae Subprostratae in drying equipment such as ovens or drying rooms to bake. The drying temperature must be kept at 60 degrees Celsius or lower. Just bake the herbs until the moisture meets the requirements. Compared with the traditional method, this one is weatherproof and much cleaner while curtailing baking time, which is more productive. Thirdly, we need to conduct quality tests. After initial processing, only tested herbs can be stored. It means that they need to comply with the regulations under Radix Sophorae Subprostratae listed in the 2020 edition of the Chinese Pharmacopoeia, Part 1, including the water content, total ashes, extracts and the total amount of metrine and oxymetrine. According to Chinese Pharmacopoeia, the water content of Radix Sophorae Subprostratae must be limited to a maximum of 10%. The amount of total ashes must be lower than 6%. Extractum, alcohol-soluble extractum should not be allowed to drop below 15%. The total amount of metrine and oxymetrine must be kept at more than 0.6%. Finally, we are going to talk about packaging and storing. The specifications for Radix Sophorae Subprostratae can be divided into selected goods and groceries. They have something in common as follows. Their rhizomes are irregular knotty with numerous roots below and stem bases or scars on the top. The roots look long and cylindrical of various lengths with branches. They are brown to black-brown, with longitudinal wrinkles and horizontal long slightly raised lenticels. They are difficult to crackle the roots due to their hardness. Their fracture surfaces show the brownish phloem and xylem in pale yellow. Their odors are similar to beans and taste extremely bitter. There are also differences between them. The diameter of the former ranges from 1 to 1.5 centimeters, while the latter from 0.7 to 1.5 centimeters. Besides, selected ones are 38 to 50 centimeters long and groceries are only 20 to 50 centimeters. Additionally, there are a few points I would like to remind you. 1. At present, Radix Sophorae Subprostratae in the herb market is divided by how its medicinal parts look, focusing on the size and length of the roots into different quality levels. Those proved to be uniform in size and length are called selected goods, while unpicked ones are groceries. 2. Chinese Pharmacopoeia has explicitly stipulated the roots and rhizomes as the medicinal parts of Radix Sophorae Subprostratae. However, some were found to be adulterated with branches above the ground, commonly known as yangji, which are disqualified due to the lower amount of metrine and oxymetrine. Radix Sophorae Subprostratae often retains its stem bases, but we should distinguish excessively long ones that don't fit the bill. 3. We also need to differentiate disqualified old herbs fumed with sulfur. Such herbs have been deteriorated or damaged by pests, because they are stored for too long and inevitably absorb moisture in the air, or they may not dry enough from the very beginning. 4. The problem of mixed wine and counterfeit products is prominent in the market of Radix Sophorae Subprostratae. This kind of medicinal materials mostly appears in the form of decoction pieces, and most of them have no odor of beans or bitterness. In this lesson, we have learned about the Radix Sophorae Subprostratae origin producing techniques. We need to put more emphasis on the drying methods. This is the end of the lesson. Thank you.